Okay, so I'm back. This is episode 2 of my Trutorials for Redstone. And today we are going to be showing how you can, how a powered block will affect other blocks. So this is a bit kind of hard to grasp, at least it was for me at the very beginning. I'll be showing you stuff with doors, because this was the very first redstone thing I ever did, was opening a door, and I did it wrong. Well, I shouldn't say, I did it a very inefficient way. So, since a door takes up a block this way, you need to have a thing like this. You can use a wooden pressure plate or an iron door or whatever, but it opens like that. So, I had a mess up of redstone underneath, powering blocks. It was messy, and it wasn't necessary to have all that stuff underneath. It was a redundancy. So, so if that's that's basically all I wanted to show you with that. But I am going to show you how you can basically how this works. So, in fact, let's do it this way. Alright, so basically, when you step on this block, this pressure plate and this block are basically one in the same. So, this whole thing is powered. This pressure plate and this block are exactly the same thing, pretty much. So this acts as one powered block. And that is right next to, or adjacent to, another block, and that block is getting powered. And then that is powering the door, since the door is on that block. So, that happens. I'm just trying to make you guys visualize this. So when they're right next together, so subtract this wire, you have a powered block right next to another block, which causes that sort of effect. Let's see. And since you have an adjacent block, you can also do something like this. Remember, powered stuff adjacent will be your friend. So, like so. Now, if you wanted to have the inverse of this, you can do what I showed you last episode and have an inverter. So I'm just going to kind of run this off of this. You could hook this up differently. There's a million ways to do this. But basically, I have the opposite of this signal coming out of here, so it's inverted. Use a door to demonstrate. So we need to update this door first. Now, if we do this, it'll close it. They're going to be opposites. And a redstone torch is a 1 tick delay, so 1/10 of a second. So that's why one of them is going slightly faster than the other. So there's your basics there. There's lots of ways you can power blocks, but what I was trying to convey there was just the adjacent. You could do the same thing with, say, a piston. Actually, we'll keep that. Alright. Do the same thing with a piston, and I'm just going to place it on a block here. And then, because you're powering the block right next to it. That's the best thing about redstone. You don't need to go straight into the piston. So, alright. Let's see. From here, we can do some other cool things. So, there's a way you can cause a update, as it's called, from a long ways away. So basically, I guess I put my wood in my inventory, but we're going to try and power this piston from here by, here, let me set the time here. Oops, forgot a space. There we go. So this block is powering, or this lever is powering this redstone, which is powering this block, which powers a redstone lamp. Now this is getting a little bit more advanced here. Now that you see that block is being powered, so that's a demonstration there. You can also do some cool things, like if I was to do this, it would power that piston. But what happens if I had 2 pistons? Now, it doesn't work diagonally like that, at least not from the bottom up. It's a little bit of warning I will get into to show you in the future, but in fact I'll give you a little demonstration now. So if you have this is a little it's a bug with redstone. So if you're to have 2 pistons like so, you're going to power both of them like that. It's because you have a diagonal power here. So yeah, if you were to have a repeater there, it'd power both of them. It's just a little bug with redstone, so don't get discouraged from that. But an easy way to power both these pistons is to have a redstone, piece of redstone, a piece of redstone like that. Now, we can't have redstone pulling out of redstone, so in order to make this little setup work, we need a repeater there. Now this pushes the signal into the block, which causes this to happen. Hope I kind of made that clear. Probably didn't. If not, just personal message me and I'll try and help you get your redstone problems solved. So I showed you the inverter, I showed you how to power pistons, or any other block for that matter, the different ways you can power them. So basically, another thing you'll probably be using is something called a torch tower. Now, you can make these go both ways. One is a 1x1 design, one is a 2x2 or 2x1 design, and they are kind of slow. Now there's an alternative to this. Now, since each torch takes a 1 tick to update, now I see you have an alternate pattern because this torch is powering this block, which is of course turning off this torch. Since this block is not powered, this torch is on, and you get a pattern going up here, because if you power it, you will power that block and that'll turn on and go all the way up. Now, this is actually pretty slow. I mean, I wouldn't recommend using this in your design if you can help it. But it's very well used and it's very simple to use. Now, you can do the same thing going down, and it's not very hard to do. Basically, what you want to do is you want to have kind of a stagger like this. Now, if you have a powered piece of redstone, I'm going to use this as an example. So if you have this powered little piece of redstone here, over a torch, so if it's set up like this, or like this, or however, if that is powered and you turn it on, it will turn off the torch. Since this redstone right here is powering this block right here, and that is therefore turning off the torch. So, I guess I could have kept that, but we'll just do this right now. Now, taking advantage of this, we can create a reverse torch tower going like so. And basically, this torch is powering this redstone, so it's turning off that torch, and since this redstone isn't on, this torch is on, and we get a signal on-off just as fast as this per layer. So if you're using these in your design, you just need to be cautious that it takes some time. And here's a little, it's not really, I guess it started out as a bug, but Mojang said they weren't going to take it out. And this is an instant tower. Glowstone has this weird thing where you can set redstone on it, but it'll still transfer power through it. Now, that's kind of hard to understand, but It's easily shown. This is instant vertical transmission of a redstone signal, and you can see it's powered, and it's not. It doesn't appear like this, but it is. One thing I forgot to mention a little bit earlier, I guess, is what a dot of redstone actually means. So I'm going to set up something like this, and I'm going to run a repeater into it. Alright, so I want to have a repeater running into there, followed by a dot of redstone. Now this is simply a dot of redstone you can think of. I'm just going to make a large scale version here. It's simply, oops, kind of a cross. It is powering into all of these blocks. Just that one dot. This is how it used to show up. So this little piece will power all of these. So that's how you can think of a single dot as, and just a miniature version of what I just showed you. And I'm going to use this repeater because remember it'll push the power through the block. Also going to put torches on these. This block will automatically, because you know a repeater is going into it, but since this is kind of like a cross, it'll take the power from this block, put it into this block, and this block. This is going to be the last thing I show you today, and it'll basically just turn off all your stuff. So don't be afraid to use one piece of redstone. It works well. So pretty much that's what I'm going to show you. I showed you today. It's pretty much how powered blocks affect each other, I guess is the proper English term. So I'm just going to clear the ground here a bit for the next episode, and just don't be turned off by this. It's pretty easy once you get the basics down. It's not actually very hard. You just have to see the ease at which some of this stuff can go together. So don't get put off by this, and just keep up with it. It's not really, you should be able to figure it out pretty easily. So I'll see you next episode, and don't get frustrated.